Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To some of you and peace out to the rest of you. The blackest hearted, blackest minded, blackest man on social media signing black in and shining again, asking you to hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. That being said, let me go ahead and tell y'all what this is about right quick. This is about the religion and my job. It's about both. To make a long story short, first off, my job is in jeopardy. I just learned today. I don't know what's going to happen, but my job is in jeopardy. So that being said, if you're Muslim and you're listening, make dua that when I get up tomorrow, tomorrow or any other day, I don't get any emails or notifications that I don't have this job anymore. But I'm going to start by saying that since I have told everybody to take accountability for that over which you had control and of which you had adequate knowledge to affect a good outcome, I'm going to start by taking accountability proportional to my screw up. The malice is not on me, but the bad, terrible, stupid judgment is on me. That's on me. I mean, I could explain it. I hadn't fully slept well and I was trying to multitask, but that was still stupid. Even for that, that was really dumb on my part. There was no malice involved. What I was showing the students, I was providing an adequate explanation for. But however, on a normal day, I know that there's always a crop of students that don't belong where they are. And they know they don't. And their interest is in continuing to cheat their way through and therefore removing any obstacle to their cheating. And I am an obstacle to cheating where I am. Everywhere I've been a major obstacle to students cheating. Major obstacle. I've had some that want to fight me about this. It never happened, but I was warned by students. I remember in 1 week I was warned by 2 different students that had not met each other that I knew of that I was being targeted at that point. Because I invigilated a test. When I walked into both rooms, the students realized, oh God, it's that bald-headed dude. Dang it, we're going to fail. And a lot of them wound up failing because they couldn't cheat. And they had to repeat, and they were mad at me. So this being said, I knew that some students have an interest in removing honest people from in front of them because the corrupt have to hate the honest. The wicked hate the righteous far more than the righteous hate the wicked. I'm not even righteous. I'm just not corrupt like that. Corrupted, I'm sure, but corrupt like that, no, not systemically. And I thank Allah for that. I wouldn't get away with it if I was anyway, so I'm not even going to tell you about these altruistic reasons I've got. If you don't want to believe them and you have every right not to, just suffice it to say that I wouldn't get away with the same corruption anyway, and I know it. Point is, I'm not that corrupt. However, some students have gotten away with being that, and so I knew, and I had a lapse in judgment. That's on me. The malice is on the students and possibly on any administrators that would cave into pressure from them. When I say on the students, I mean specifically the ones who don't know what I was talking about, but were willing to take something that I wrote, ignore the explanation, and then go run with it to present it without the proper context. That part's on them. Now, let me tell you why I'm saying this to you. In the worst case scenario, Allah forbid, I don't have a job anymore. That's probably going to have a negative effect on my marriage. Unless the company can find a nice place to which to send both of us, it's probably going to have a negative effect on the marriage. That would also be on me, not due to malice, but due to being stupid. I got to be smart. Now, I said before, and this is the hook of what I'm talking about. I told everybody before that the religion I'm on, as bad as I might be at it, is the solution for black people, men or women. And it's the solution even for other groups of people too, especially if they're oppressed. But in the event that the worst happens and I lose this gig and I have to go back stateside because the company can't find another post for me, in that worst event, I will still try to record from the States if I have to go back there, because the countries to which I would like to go after leaving the Gulf are now closed due to COVID. I get it. Nothing personal. So this is one of the worst times to be sent out of the country for lack of employment, because what that means is I would have to go back to my own country of origin, and that would be the belly of the beast, the States. To visit, fine. In the winter, no, I'd get sick. I don't think I'd even survive till spring, to be honest with you. But I've said that this religion is the solution, and I want to point this out. In the worst case scenario, do not come back to me and say black mind. Those were Muslims and the lands of the Muslims and the capitals of the Muslims that caused you to lose your gig and be right back in the States looking for jobs amidst the pandemic that you ain't gonna never find, trying to catch up on bills you're never gonna be able to catch up on. I want that to be understood. And I say that for this reason. If it happens, it will be, like I said, due to my dumb judgment, and it will also be due to not their religion or not their Islam, but their lack of it, because the students that will have been behind this are going to be the ones who cheated their way to get this far anyway. And for them to be cheating, they were not practicing Islam. They were not practicing their Islam. For them to cheat, it's not because of their Islam that they cheated. It is because of their lack of it. You see, if you're going to cheat somebody as a Muslim, you do it only in emergencies or in war. That's when you do it. But, and of course, you might deceive an animal when you're hunting it too, but you don't just walk around deceiving people because you want something and you don't want to work for it. You don't deceive and cheat people simply because you've decided to get without giving up the price, because you decided to indulge in both selfishness and laziness at the same time. No, we don't do that. Not when you're practicing. We don't do that. So you're going to indulge in selfishness and laziness at one time. In other words, you're going to take what you ain't going to earn. No. See, human beings are naturally selfish and we're naturally lazy. The problem is that we decide to engage in both at the same time, and that's where we start doing wrong. That's where the corruption comes in. Being lazy by itself, it's a minor thing as long as you're not too greedy. Being greedy and being materialistic and wanting to have more can be okay as long as you're not lazy, but we all struggle with both instincts. And if we decide to indulge them both simultaneously, we have then gone into greed. We've gone into corruption. You think about it. What are most evil acts based on? So anyway, that being said, what is cheating based on? They want to take what's not theirs without earning it. No studying, give me the grade. Okay, I'll trick you into giving me the grade. I'll trick my way into it. So it will be because they did not practice their faith that they did what they did, wound up in front of me electronically, realized that I wasn't going to let them continue that corruption, and that if they cheated in front of me, I was going to turn them in and expose them to the administrators so that they couldn't continue on, and they were going to have to repeat and actually go back and learn another language not related to their own before they could pass. Or they were going to have to go back to previous levels where they belonged and start over. But what they weren't going to do was continue on this path and just cheat their way through another step. That's going to be why they did it. Not because of their Islam, but because of their lack of it. So in the worst case scenario, don't come to me and say, why are you Muslim after what they did to you? See, most of my students are actually good and they belong where they are. They just now found out that someone amongst them, definitely who does not belong there, decided to present what I wrote without explaining the proper context of the explanation I provided for it for their benefit. If the administrators ask the whole class for their side of the story, the good ones are going to tell them what's going on. I just can't guarantee that that's what the procedure will be. So I'm prepared. I'm trying to prepare myself, worst case scenario. However, in the event of the worst case scenario, Allah forbid, do not come to me and say that it can't be the solution, because look at them. I'm telling you from jump. I have seen that when they apply it, they do great things. I've seen it when other ethnicities that are Muslim apply it, they've done well, and they fail when they disobey the revelations from above the seven heavens. When I told you all that this was the solution for us, this revelation, I said it based on concrete evidence. That's why I told it to you. Even though I have said I'm no longer pro-black, I'm pro-black male. I do admit Allah created us in pairs. The reason I'm not pro-black female is because of what they have chosen to do in the West. That's why. And when they start taking on these same things in southern Nigeria and in South Africa, and I see it spreading to the continent that way, I say, okay, we got to be careful. Spreading into Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, okay, see, we got to be careful. I see that. So I am pro-black male. I'm not walking around here pro-black female. And I'm talking about in the Western context. It ain't because I hate them. And it ain't because Allah did not make them as half of a pair. That's not why. It is because I've seen that they ain't for us. What they want is that BS. They want us to do our part, and they don't do their part. They want us to do our part, then do their part, then turn around and give the benefits of both to them and keep the benefits of neither for ourselves. That's why. But the other reason too is that while I have said that the revelation is a solution to both genders and multiple races, the fact remains that in my observation, I have seen many women, not many, but I've seen quite a handful of women come into the faith, turn around and leave. I've seen a few men. It's rare. I've heard of more men doing it than I've actually ever come across and met in real life. I've met more women than I've actually heard about. With women, it's the reverse. I've met more than I've heard about coming in and then leaving the faith. I've heard of them doing it, but I've met plenty. Met them in lunch lines, met them in jobs. 2 of them are in my family. They come in and they leave out because of a relationship that doesn't work or because they couldn't handle the negative publicity. And I say, oh my goodness. I look and I just say, I can't believe this mess. Easy in, easy out. And so with that being said, this is part of why it is that I tell you all that it's the solution. And I don't backtrack on it after we can all see the misbehaviors of people that are ethnically Muslim. I don't make any apologies for that. When we've done our part, we succeed. And what I mean by that is that in the end, when you examine the civilizations, one of the churches, both Byzantine and the Roman Church, i.e. the Catholic Church. And then the other civilization that was the Muslim Empire. You're going to notice a pattern when you look into history. And this tells us everything we need to know, even if you don't agree with me. And that is that in order for the civilizations of those churches to begin to really advance, they had to leave their faith. They progressed when they put their faith aside. In order for the Muslim empire to deteriorate, they had to put their faith aside. Do you see what happens now? You see what I mean? One civilization put its faith aside and therefore advanced. The other one put its faith aside and therefore deteriorated. Now do you get it? So That being said, do not come to me at any point and tell me that because of the behaviors of some of those who were ethnically Muslim and didn't practice their faith, because of their unethical practices, that you find fault with the actual revelation itself. And you're going to be able to say, well, you know, Black Mind, we could tell you the same thing about Christianity. Don't sit up here and try to blame the faith for anything just because you got some Christians that weren't actually being Christian. Yeah, I know. I get that. But see, that takes us back to what we do have to. If you're going to argue, we're going to have to argue doctrine itself, as well as what happens if you practically apply the doctrine. You got to argue both. And in all honesty, I'm not sure that that's always a fair argument. I mean, fair for you. So that being said, I just want to let you all know, worst case scenario, I'll take accountability. Anyway, sorry about the interruption, but in the end, don't try to use the bad behaviors of somebody, even if it's something that causes me grief, as grounds to say that it's not the solution, let alone as grounds to say that I was outright lying to you. Because I don't even do this with regards to the predominant faith amongst us, which is Christianity. I don't sit up and say that because of what some Catholic priests are doing, you as a Baptist can't tell me nothing. I don't necessarily do that. We have to talk about what the doctrines are, what the actual revelations are, the real teachings, and the effects when you apply them practically. That's what we got to do, just to be fair. So I think I got the point across. Sorry about the interruptions, and thank you for listening. You know who it is? We'll talk more about this later, inshallah. I'm going to skip the real militant outro this time. Assalamu alaikum to those of you, to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Till next time.